everyone. My name is Dr. Lee. I come from Bukit Mertajam, Penang. And right now, I'm staying in Kluang, Johor. So today, I would like to share with you my own method of how to prepare well for exams, any exams at all. But I'm especially focusing on national exams, nationwide exams. This is part 1 and I have part 2. So part 1, you have 1 year to prepare, at least 1 year. These are the tips. And part 2, you have no more time. Last minute studying. How? That will be my part 2. So first of all, I would like you to identify. The time that you can think and the time that you can absorb best. There is no special time or fixed time or suggested time. For me, myself, I work best after 1 a.m. So I can work throughout the night without sleeping. But I sleep maybe after 5 a.m. because that is the way I work best. So for me, based on my experience and based on what I have done, research after research, I would suggest that you yourself identify the best time that you can absorb. It is not necessarily in the morning. And some people say that afternoon is not the time to study because it's very hot and you tend to feel sleepy. Again, I don't agree. Because any time is the best time. It depends on you. If for you daytime is the best, go ahead. It does not necessarily mean that night is the best time. Therefore, you have to study at night. Or morning is the best time. It depends on the individual. So it's very important you identify for yourself the best time to study. Okay? Talking about study time. According to research, our attention span is very short. So it is best that we study not more than 2 hours. With intervals in between. Probably after 40 minutes, take a break. Don't think of anything. 40 minutes, take a break, like in school. Some schools, like Chinese independent schools, they have around 35 minutes and then the bell rings. So when the bell rings, your mind is just fresh to receive the next teacher to teach you another 35 minutes. So it is best that you allocate maybe 35 to 40 minutes. Take a break. Don't think of anything. Rest properly. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then go back to your studies. And secondly, it is very important to have your own timetable. So make a timetable. For example, after school, the things that you need to do, priorities. In the evening, what you do? If you need to go for tuition, yes, go ahead. Allocate the time for your own self-study, revision. So the timetable that you make, you have to follow it strictly. Do not procrastinate. Do not say, I'll do it tomorrow because today I have something else which suddenly cropped up. That is just a lame excuse, which many people do. It's just a very, very lame excuse. Oh, suddenly I have this. So this timetable, I will follow it tomorrow. So the days pass by. And in the end, nothing is done. So do not postpone. If you have to do it today, do it. Follow your timetable strictly. Be strict to yourself. Do not pamper yourself. And keep reminding yourself, I have 1 more year to go. And then the next day you tell yourself, I have 364 days to go. And the following day, I have 363 days to go. So when you see that, you instill fear into yourself. And that is the motivation for you to carry on, to be hardworking. Remember that this time will go. If you really want to enjoy after the exam, you got plenty of time to enjoy, to relax, to let your hair down. Always keep reminding yourself. It will be good if you write on your time, have a timetable, and beside the timetable, always write down how many more days to SPM or to UEC or to IGCSE. Place of study is important. Now, I don't believe that you need to have a room of your own, and then it must, have the atmosphere must be suitable or conducive for studying. A real study. A room where there are books, air condition, a table. I think it's not practical because not everyone will have that kind of comfort. There are some people who don't have all this. Then what are we going to do? Are we going to sit down and say, well, I can't study because I do not have a study? You can't do that. For me, any place is a good place. It is your own discipline and determination that will keep you going. So identify any place in your house. Okay, if you need to go to the, let us say there's no pandemic like now, maybe you want to go to a restaurant or a cafe, go ahead. Or your own house. If myself, I just do it in the sitting room. It's okay. The important thing is there must be a table. It must be windy, at least a fan nearby. It must be bright, preferably the light is coming from your back, not from the front. And where it is located, for me, is not important. It is just, again, another excuse. So it can be anywhere. The important thing is you are disciplined enough to control yourself. So sit in a place whereby you can have enough light shining. It is windy enough, it's not hot, and it's bright enough. And that place, not much disturbance. Sit down and study. 40 minutes, take a break. Another 40 minutes, take a break. Another 40 minutes, 2 hours is up. Probably, if let us say you really have 1 year to go, 2 to 2.5 hours per day without stopping is good. And please, again, do not pamper yourself. Do not say that, well, I have studied for 6 days, therefore the 7th day I take a break. That is pampering yourself. As I said, be strict with yourself. Do not ever pamper yourself and, reward myself. This is a very, a new trend where people reward themselves because they think that they have done so much. We can never do enough in my view, from my view. There is no such thing as enough, that we have done enough, therefore we need to reward ourselves. No. We have to be strict with ourselves. We have to be disciplined, determined. Then we can do it. Why? The ultimate key is to do well in your exam. As I said, you got plenty of time after your exam to pamper, to reward yourself. Okay? So, important thing is the place where you study. Do not give yourself excuse to go to the toilet every time or to go and drink water. During that 10-minute break, you can do whatever you want. But for the 40 minutes, do not move from your place. Just sit down and stay put. Some people say that they need to listen to music, then they can study. Well, it's up to the individual. If you really think that the music won't distract you, and that you really, by listening to the music, you are motivated and you can study so well, everything can go into your brain, go ahead. Myself, no. No music. Look at me talking to you now. Do I put music? You might probably be distracted and don't listen to me. You might probably be so, so engrossed in the music, you might end up singing together with the music. Do you actually listen to me? So for myself, I put all this aside. No music for me. I fully concentrate 40 minutes, take a break, come back again. Now study, what to study, how to study. It's a good way, besides the teachers, what they do in school with you, it's a good way to start with topical. That means topic by topic for each subject. Follow the topic, especially the topics which the teachers in school have already covered. Don't do something new. Don't try to do something new. Whatever the teachers have done, repeat it through topical exercises. And then towards the end, maybe 3 or 4 months before the real exam, start with model tests. Do as many as you can. And then maybe 2 months or 1 month, I think 2 months would be best before the real exam. Or you can combine model tests and past year papers. Model tests and past year papers. Because 10 years I put for myself, past year papers is only 10 days. So maybe the last month before the exam, you can do past year papers. That is the way you gauge your standard. Because past year's papers, no matter how you do, there is an answer sheet behind the, what you call the answer scheme. If you look at the answer scheme, you would know exactly how much or how many marks you can get, what is the grade, and then you can access, because past year papers is the real standard that is needed for your exam. And lastly, it's important to know yourself. I have already mentioned one. Know yourself means to say your restrictions. Please switch off the handphone and keep it one side. Remember, don't get distracted. Don't give yourself excuses to go and drink water, to go to the toilet. And remember that if you are studying at home, please remind your family members not to call you, to do this, to do that, to give you the privacy and to give you space to do your studies. Okay, so I hope that these tips can help you to prepare well for your exams. I will meet you again in part 2, where you have another scenario whereby you don't have time anymore. Left 4 months, what are you going to do? And that will be my part 2. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I will see you in video 2.